So, guys, no matter what platform you play, whether that's PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch 2, or PC, or hell, even mobile with the plethora of gacha games and action RPGs they've been getting lately, gamers are eating good here in 2026. There's no way to get around it. And last week, Nintendo just dropped one of the biggest bombs of all time. Something the community has been begging for literally since, I'm going to say, maybe the GameCube era. All right? Like a full on, like, real remake for The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And not to mention with the power of the Nintendo Switch 2, I don't think there's has been a better time to do it. But anyway, despite the details being light, let's go ahead and talk about what we know so far. Gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tanek027 and welcome back to another video. And guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking all things Zelda, specifically the Ocarina of Time Remake. However, if you want to stay updated on all things Zelda, make sure you are liking today's video, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and let's go ahead and get on into today's topic. So, when you look up the Zelda Ocarina of Time Remake online, you're going to get a lot of these same articles, just basically speculation videos from different media outlets. If you go on YouTube, you're going to see more speculation from other content creators. And hell, there's even a line that describes the game on the Nintendo website that people are trying to break down and get the most information that they can. However, realistically, there really isn't too much out there. So the website goes to describe The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time as the Nintendo 64 Classic returns for a new generation in 2026, reborn exclusively for Nintendo Switch 2. And that's literally all we really have to go off of besides what we see in the trailer here. And I'm going to give you guys my theory here about that in a minute. So from the trailer, we learn a few things. That the game is obviously being completely remade from the ground up, similar to how Square Enix is doing the Final Fantasy VII Remake, except Nintendo is actually giving it all to us in one game.
What did he say?
There's a new visual style to it. We can obviously tell the game's going to hit in 2026, so we will be playing it sometime in the next six months. But one thing this trailer also doesn't tell you is there's a high chance that there's going to be a direct solely based on this game. And that's simply because of the lack of information. And you guys know Nintendo, they love doing these little solo directs on big games that they plan on launching. With a game as big as this, yeah, that direct's going to be packed with info, and I highly suggest you subscribe to Nintendo's YouTube channel and watch it. Like they did directs on Splatoon Raiders and the Star Fox 64 remake. So if they did directs on those, trust me, Ocarina of Time is going to have a direct. Now, as of a release date, we honestly don't know yet. I would assume they would probably announce it or at least give us a small window when they do have, some type of direct or decide to give more information on the Zelda Ocarina of Time. But I do have one theory when we look at this little teaser trailer that they share here. I honestly think that it's like, some people are thinking this is like just in-engine footage and the game may or may not exactly look like this. These might not be the actual graphics. I think this is the intro cinematic to the game. And I think that's why they're using this as a teaser. Because think about it, the game comes out sometime this year. So the game's pretty much damn near done. They've been working on this and developing this for, I'm going to say, probably a good amount of time. But what I think of when I see this little trailer right here, because remember, the original Ocarina of Time had a similar intro cinematic, where you zoom in on Link sleeping and all that stuff. I think this is the actual intro cinematic to the game, and the visuals we have here are actually what the game, really, really looks like. And I'm saying that because you guys know how in some cutscenes and stuff like that, the cutscenes look better than the actual in-game graphics and stuff like that. Well, remember, the original game did the same thing, but it was the actual graphics for the game. And I think that's also what they're showing here, but we won't know that for sure. That's just my personal theory. I know it's something light, nothing really crazy. A lot of you are probably watching that like, oh, well, no shit, Sherlock. So I get that. Now, for a release date, the only thing I can speculate is, I'm not going to say that they're going to try and avoid GTA. There's a lot of people speculating that. because I think the audience for Ocarina of Time and the audience for GTA 6 are two very different audiences, and I think a lot of people that are going to want both games are just going to go ahead and buy both games. Like prime example, I'm going to buy both games. I want to play the hell out of them both, so that's what I'm going to do. So my guess is I'm thinking if they want to, like really hit that holiday time, October or something, especially if they want to try and get ahead. But then again, I also think, to really punch into an impact during the holidays, they could release sometime early December. Now, like I said, I don't think they would avoid November because of GTA 6. I just think, like when you look at Nintendo, they always want to be separate and do their own thing. So I think for that reason, they might stay away from the GTA 6 release date or release area. But that's just a prediction. It very well could come out in November. We just have to wait and see. And like I said, guys, if you're new here, subscribe, and I'll let y'all know as soon as we get that information. But anyway, y'all enjoyed today's video. Smash that like. Let me know down in the comments if you are hyped for the Ocarina of Time remake. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.